In a world with increasing uncertainties, global conflicts, civil unrest, pandemics, food shortages, power outages, and natural disasters, let us help navigate you down the path to becoming a prepping fool.
Welcome everyone to the Prepping Fool. Today I am going to talk about a whole house generator or a portable generator being used as a whole house generator. As you see behind me, I have a Duramax XP 13000 EH dual fuel generator. In this video I'll be talking about the bonded neutral or the floating neutral, and in our case, what did we have to do in order to make this generator work? With everything going on in Russia lately, in Ukraine, I feel that it's important to make sure our backup generator system is working appropriately. Primarily got this for hurricane season, which is also coming up. The generator's been here for a little while, but I had no ability to test it until we set up our air conditioning system appropriately because it was a 5-ton unit. Anyways, with these portable generators, they have floating grounds and bonded grounds or neutrals, and sometimes they don't work appropriately when you go to hook them up to a whole house, basically. Something to do with the neutrals conflicting and the grounds conflicting. So I decided to dig into this and find out what I needed to know to make my particular situation work. Hopefully this information helps you on yours. No point of having a backup generator if it's not going to do the job. We don't know what's going to happen, possible cyber attacks, maybe EMP. We have no idea what's going on in the world today, really. So we just want to make sure that everything we have is topped off and ready to go, and hopefully it performs when we need it to in an emergency. So let's hop into the video. This is the generator I'm going to be using to power our whole house. This is a Duramax XP 13000 EH hybrid dual fuel generator. I guess what all that means is it's a 13,000 watt generator upon start. It runs on both gasoline and propane with a running wattage of about 10,000 watts on gasoline. And if you're going to run it on propane, you're going to deduct 10% roughly from that. Propane is about 10% less efficient than gasoline when it comes to running on your generator. And if you have natural gas, if you have the tri-fuel, you actually deduct 20% from the gasoline numbers. This is a 50 amp plug here. I'll be running this into my 50 amp plug for the whole house, which I have mounted outside. I have a manual transfer switch, which I'll show you here shortly. And one of the problems with this was there's different grounds or neutrals on generators, floating grounds or bonded grounds. And this particular one, I believe, has a special floating ground, which is also bonded according to the manufacturer. So before I'm able to run this in my whole house and use my house ground, I needed to disconnect a wire inside the generator itself here. I've already taken off the cover. 2 7mm bolts come right off here, then all this here is exposed. So what we want to do is get in here, find this loop. This loop is bonded to the frame or to the motor, and you can see here where they also run a separate ground over here, which you can ground the generator to earth or some other ground. So in order to run my whole house and use my house ground, I need to take off the second screw or nut. Take that off, remove this wire, and attach that wire to here. I've already obviously pre-loosened everything here. And if I ever wanted to run this on a job site or something like that, I would have to take that nut off, reconnect that again, and then you can actually go ahead and ground with this. So before you're going to do that, you want to verify the type of transfer switches and stuff that you do have. I have a 2-pole 50 amp breaker in my box and a manual transfer switch which is connected to a 50 amp plug on the outside of my home. As you see, I connected the loop back to itself on this bolt here. The second prong, or the second nut down, I reconnected that, the neutral. It's hard to see here, but it is this white neutral wire right here. And it goes right to there. So that nut is back on there. And what I will be doing is reassembling the generator cover, putting that back on there, and this will be ready to go tomorrow. And there we have it all back installed. These were two 7mm bolts, and the nuts inside, the nut and the bolt inside that you need to change were both 8mm. This is my electrical box or sub panel in my panel. And if you notice right down here, this is the manual transfer switch. In order to use this, before I plug a generator into this, I would go ahead and turn the main power off. I'm not going to do that right now, but we would turn the main power off. This plate will drop down. This edge of it will prevent that circuit breaker from being turned on and allowing this 50 amp to also be turned on, which would then power the rest of the box. So obviously if that happened, we would go through and pick which circuits we want. For us here, we have a 5-ton generator, which is really important. And it takes quite a bit of a start to get a 5-ton going. Supposedly 10,000 watts is enough to do it. I don't know that for sure. I haven't tried it yet. Tomorrow, I will be installing a soft starter on our air conditioning unit. It was probably around 350 or so. A soft starter eliminates the need for as much surge to start up the condenser outside or the compressor outside. Once I get everything hooked up tomorrow, it should work fine. If it doesn't, then I will obviously do a follow-up for you. But I just thought that it was important, if you're just going to buy generators, especially with everything that's going on here lately, it's important to have a pretty good understanding of exactly what you're doing and why the things needed to be done. And this is not an opinion. I did call Duramax tech support, and I was escalated way up the line to a senior tech support person, and he's the one that also confirmed this in my particular case because of the type of transfer switch that I have. I have a two-pole breaker. There's nothing else really going on in there. Our box bonds neutrals, and that wasn't a bonded neutral, it was a floating neutral, which was bonded to the chassis. I don't fully understand exactly who, what, when, where, or why, but I did have some idea of the neutrals and what I might or might not need. So before I do this, I just wanted to confirm with them, and they did confirm. So the information I am giving you is accurate in my particular case. So this is something that you might want to look into if you're going to run a whole house generator. So I know somebody's going to ask me what this box over here is. And this is an EMP shield. It's supposed to protect our home against EMP, but that's for a whole nother video there. So I'll leave a link down below if you're interested in an EMP shield, where you can get one and save $50 per EMP device. So here is the 50 amp plug. So as you see, we have a connection up on the top there and 3 connections here, and the hole right there is also another plug. So another connection on the plug, there's a male piece that sticks and would go into there. This is a twist lock plug, so we would go ahead, sorry about the AC booting up there, we would go ahead and plug that into there. And here is another style plug. This is the RV style plug. In a pinch, I'd be able to run that in there. If I didn't have the 50 amp plug, I would just have to be a lot more careful as I was back feeding it in to make sure that the main breaker was off. There would be no protection at that point unless one was installed. I hope somebody found some information in my video valuable today. If you did, please go ahead and like the video, smash that thumbs up button, and subscribe to our channel for future videos. And we'll be coming up with some more content on some hopefully valuable things that you guys find interesting. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you guys around again. And until next time, this is the Prepping Fool. Over and out.